What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on a couple different points. One of which is something that might be coming from the Q3 earnings that definitely is a very, very big catalyst and should propel Lucid a little bit higher, especially considering it is exactly what the PIF does want. So speaking of PIF though, I want to give you a good update on them and what definitely came down the pipeline. So I'm going to go over all that fun jazz, but before I do, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So when it comes to it though, the PIF has recently come out and spoken many different times on which their expectations of Lucid and what they're doing and offering Lucid as far as incentives and money and things like that. But it does say that Saudi factory will be starting initially with the Air, which I think was a little bit more common knowledge, but they are going to be eventually wanting the SUV. So in case you guys do not know, the SUV is the Project Gravity. So Project Gravity is absolutely huge and very pivotal for Lucid, especially more so they're going to be having that mid-size SUV, the lower price vehicle that is going to piggyback off of this direct demand of the Gravity. So when it comes down to this though, you can see this is their original forecast from 2021 and it does project looking at the Gravity. So you can see right here, initially it was set for 2023. It has since changed to 2024, but despite all that though, it clearly goes to show the dependency and the demand is there. So initially 12,000 to 49,000 to 86,000 to 134,000 of these Gravities being produced and delivered by 2026. So clearly goes to show this is going to be much, much bigger than the Air. So let me know your thoughts on that. And based on the Q2 earnings, it does say right here that they've been even more so even at that stage considering how to roll that out. And typically for the Air, on when it initially came out with the Dream Edition, I believe that you were able to reserve the vehicle for about a year and a half prior. I could be completely wrong about that. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. So hopefully, if that is kind of the criteria that they do follow, Gravity might be right around the corner. So that definitely will be a very, very big catalyst going forward. And not only that though, we do see a broad demand. So I did bring up this exact same thing. I know Cathie Woods isn't everyone's cup of tea, but based on what she did say, so she did mention, given the accelerated consumer preference shift towards electric vehicles, used car prices and the residual value of all gas-powered autos are likely to plummet, causing serious losses in the 1 trillion auto debt market. So when I brought this up initially, there was two things. One of which is hypothetically it's a very negative thing for the broader market that 1 trillion auto debt market might suffer. A positive note coming from this is that anyone investing in EVs, that the demand is still there. So that's definitely a very, very good thing for us as investors, especially more so with the Gravity, Pure, a lot of these bigger names that is going to really put Lucid out there. That's my own 2 cents. But based on the latest CPI data that did come out as far as for September 2022, it is actually starting to match exactly with what she's saying. So used cars and trucks right here, it is down 1.1% just on the comparison between August to September. So when it comes to it though, she might be very much accurate. But I think in the grand scheme of things, that might be a little bit more damaging for the broader economy, but very good for us as investors. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, but still, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But when it comes down to an update on the PIF, that is everyone's bread and butter. I think in general though, nobody can really think about Lucid without thinking of the PIF shortly after, or Saudi Arabia. So when it comes to that though, I've been really monitoring the dark pool and also the 13Fs. And oddly enough, you do see all the updates right here, but they fell underneath the radar because the PIF was expected to submit the 13F first week of November as what they previously have. But if you scroll down right here, you see the good old PIF, which did come out on October the 11th. So they maintained their position, which in the previous quarters when they've submitted the 13F, that is a very, very big deal. And unfortunately, this fell underneath the radar. So I don't know why. They normally kind of submit their 13F with a lot of the other bigger players in Lucid, such as BlackRock, Vanguard. You guys get what I'm saying, but it's very interesting that this completely fell off the radar. So let me know your thoughts on that. But if you do look at the 13F a little bit closer, they are very, very bullish on the broader market. So you can see exactly who they increased and why they increased it. So it does look like they increased it roughly about 12-13% in EA Sports. Air products and chemicals 269%, PayPal 674, 602% into Meta, so Facebook. And not only that though, it does look like they increased their position in Shopify 900%. So when it comes down to that though, a lot of those that they did increase are very spec plays that are very dependent on consumers and their broader economy doing very well. So they are, in other words, very, very bullish on the broader market. So let me know your thoughts on that. That might be a little bit more of a positive sign given all the fear out in the market. And definitely I've been talking about the fear and what that might mean for us as investors. And not only that though, even just looking at the chart, we've gone down quite a lot. So again, it's a little bit more sucks in the short term, but when it comes to Lucid, it's going to be a long-term investment. We already knew that in the get-go. But I think when it comes to that though, having the PIF and having them still maintain their position in us speaks volumes. That definitely goes to show that no matter what, they are there to support Lucid. So I really like that. That's a good takeaway from anything, despite that latest 8 billion shelf offering where they do have a little bit more of a clause where insiders could potentially sell or have their exit way that way, where in so that technically that would be converted to a little bit more of an issuance. So a lot of people took that information, such as Warren Rutledge, and kind of twisted that to a negative, which in reality, if the PIF has not sold at this stage in the game, despite all the bad aspects of Lucid already being brought forward, then they're never going to sell. That's obviously my interpretation of that. So let me know your thoughts on that. This upcoming week will be a very interesting week, very volatile week, but given the actual circumstances, we are technically doing somewhat okay. And that's more so on a technical stance. Stochastic is currently at 17, no defined trend as of right now. So we're very oversold, similar to the RSI. Momentum, number of retail investors just are out. They're done, whether they don't like the volatility, because even Lucid itself was down 8.61% on Friday. So very, very volatile day. And that's largely because of retail sales numbers and a lot more warnings coming from the IMF. So let me know your thoughts on that. On the actual chart, we're still within the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. And as I always say, 9 times out of 10, when we do break outside of that unjustifiably, we do have a nice little bounce back, but it is natural downtrend, if you want to call it this. So a little bit more of an interesting time, good times to accumulate or average down, my own 2 cents on that. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. And if you have been buying, selling, holding, or if you're done with Lucid, let me know in the comments below. Definitely very interested to see how people are interpreting this downtrend. But I think right now, like I said, you have to think about the broader market and technically some finite details that stands out for Lucid, such as the PIF. So PIF is definitely one good attribute of Lucid that no matter what, they're maintaining their position. So that's a very good takeaway. And over and above that, they're very bullish on the broader market. So if anything, if we do get below $10, they might actually increase their position, which imagine what that would do for the stock price. So definitely a lot of good things, and hopefully even more so from the Q3 earnings, which is coming out on November the 8th. I'm going to be live streaming that, so making sure you guys smash that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It's always greatly appreciated. But the gravity, so gravity might come out, or at least a little bit more guidance from that, because normally when it comes down to Lucid, they like to kind of ask questions or provide information only when they are ready. And based on the Q2 earnings, they completely were open and gave that information free willingly. So hopefully it might be right around the corner as far as reservations opening up. So that will be a very, very big deal for Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Like I said, hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.